Hey, what's up guys, it's Roy here. So today I'm going to be answering the question if an iPhone 15 Pro case will fit on an iPhone 14 Pro. So I've been getting this question asked a lot randomly in my comments, and I figured I'd do this video real quick to kind of squash that question. As you can see here, I have two phone cases. One's for the 14 Pro and one's for the 15 Pro. And if you have that trained eye looking for specific things that you know that can separate these two cases, then you are good to go. But for most average people, these look identical, which pretty much they are, except for a couple of certain things, just more cosmetically. But there's one key thing, and we'll discover that right now. So the key difference is, as you can see, is the action button. And that's the biggest difference right there, which I'm kind of surprised that people are asking mainly about the 15 Pro case, because once again, you have a physical button now with the 15 Pro versus the slider that we had on the older iPhones. So that's going to be your biggest difference right there. Really, the question should be, will a 14 Pro case fit on a 15 Pro? Because then my question would be is, can you push the button with the actual cutout? And that's to be determined once I actually get my iPhone 15 Pro in my hands. But looking at the 15 Pro, the only difference really is this cutout here, so more cosmetic than anything. And then like I said, then we have our actual physical button here for the action button. So that's really the key difference. Even looking at it from the inside, I mean, if I put a gun to your head and said, hey, which one's which, if I had a certain angle, you would not be able to tell me which one is for the 15 or the 14. But like I said, once you start to angle it a little bit, then you'd be able to see, once again, the cutouts right there. So let's go ahead and put this on and let's just see if it actually fits, because I know with the 15 Pro, it's supposed to be a little bit maybe slimmer, not by much, but you know, right now I popped it on and it's fitting. So it's definitely going to fit the phone. But as you can see here, we got the camera bump, so we got that cooking, so that's looking fine. At the end of the day, it's technically on. If I push the power button, it's working. If I do the volume up and down button, it's working. So it technically does work, but the key difference, once again, is you can't go from, you know, silent to ringer mode because you don't have that ability to switch it. So that's going to be your key difference right there, guys, which in my opinion, I would obviously say don't waste your money on a 15 Pro case if you have an iPhone 14 Pro, just due to the fact of that right there. Plus, eventually the iPhone 14 Pro cases will start to go a little bit cheaper, going on sale and whatnot, just as they always do. But that's just something to think about. But yes, technically it will fit. But one thing I wanted to point out though, is if you look here at the bottom, it is off a tiny bit. So technically, if you look at that, lightning cable port is actually just pushed up a little bit to the top versus being more centered. And kind of the same thing with the speakers. As you can see, they're kind of pushed up to the top of those cutouts. So that's going to be another difference right there, is like I said, is it's fitting technically, but it's not a perfect fit. Now, another thing to point out though too is, as you can see here, we do have some lip protection on the screen, so we're fine with all of that. But another thing I wanted to point out is this has happened on two different tests that I've done with different 15 Pro cases on the 14 Pro, is it is dang near impossible to get off. Like, it is a super snug fit, and then I have to like really push much harder than I normally would. So that even getting that corner lifted up was actually quite the miracle. I had to actually really push from, whoops. I really had to push from the camera bump portion and then start to work it off. So yeah, so just to point that out as I'm doing it, I'm hoping I'm not making the camera a shaky mess, but yeah, so will it technically fit the 14 Pro? Yes, it will. But like I said, you're sacrificing some key things. So like I said, once I get the 15 Pro in my hands, hopefully next week, then I'll be able to do this vice versa test to be able to see with the cutout if you're able to actually push your finger in there for the action button. And that might be a good thing, because then there are people out there that have the 14 Pro case that maybe can rejoice a little bit knowing that they don't have to go and splurge unless they want to. But hey, if you're gonna get the 15 Pro, why not buy some new shiny cases for it anyways, since you just went and splurged a ton. But yeah, just wanted to answer that question for you. So to recap, yes, technically a 15 Pro case will fit on the iPhone 14 Pro, but it just doesn't really make sense to do so. So hit that like button if you liked this video. If you loved it, please subscribe, ring that notification bell for up-to-date content. So be safe, God bless. We'll see you on the next one.